Clark started, there was no performing arts center here in Tempe. Like most other towns and cities, Tempe never saw world-class live performance. It was truly a desert. People will say there were no theaters down here. There was not, I don't believe we had an orchestra then.
The shows back in the early 40s used to come by train.
If you didn't live in New York or Philadelphia or Boston or where you could get rail service, you never got to see a Broadway show unless you went to New York.
When we were kids in Philadelphia in the 1930s and 40s, shows came by train, and my dad moved them from the station to the theater.
He and Jim Clark got the idea to take these Broadway shows that come to these big cities and put them on trucks and take them to the smaller towns, so to speak.
The innovation that Clark brought to the table after World War II paved the way and planted the seeds for the emergence of an amazing network of theaters and performing arts centers around the country. It fostered the birth and growth of what is now a multi-billion-dollar entertainment industry and a transformation of the cultural landscape.
In addition to moving the vast majority of Broadway shows, we also have moved rock and roll, ballet, operas, symphony orchestras, and many other productions.
One of the most important things to presenters and venue operators on the road is trucking. It's not an add-on. It's not an outside element. It is integral to what happens from the very beginning of a show being created and being mounted to that show fitting into a truck and the trucks coming to ASU Gamage and being unloaded. And it is a joyous moment when we see Clark Transfer pull up to our theaters because we know we're going to start the show on time.
So MJ the Musical wrapped up their final performance last night in San Diego. They got loaded out of San Diego and over here overnight. We started loading them in at 11 a.m. this morning, and we will go to 11 o'clock tonight. We will take about 8 hours off. We're back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., and we have opening night tomorrow night at 7:30.
We are the lead drivers for MJ the Musical, and that means we have to take care of the trucks and trailers, making sure they're in the spot where they need to be, when they need to be, for the head cart to get it unloaded and on the stage in a timely manner.
I am the head carpenter for the North American tour of MJ the Musical. I coordinate all scheduling, all crew calls, how exactly the production is going to fit in the building, when the trucks will leave the last venue, what time I need them at the venue to start our work, and is that feasibly possible? Anything can throw a wrench into the works. You plan for the ideal, but you have at least a B, C, and D plan in your pocket.
It's really kind of like a symphony, and he's the conductor. He does a good job of getting it done, but you got to understand that those trucks wind up being a show on a stage, and that's a big production. Every nut and bolt, that's a lot. That's a lot to do.
It's hard to imagine our world here at ASU Gamage or the touring Broadway industry more broadly doing what we do without the steady, reliable, consistent presence of Clark Transfer, working behind the scenes of behind the scenes. The fact that Clark is still doing this work today as a fourth-generation family business, still getting the show on the road, is a tremendous achievement.
We are absolutely amazed when we see an entire audience cheering for something that we were able to bring to them.
What a long, strange trip it's been. Trucking, I'm going.